Georgie and Mandy's first marriage may be a light-hearted comedy, but one recurring character becomes more of an antagonist with each passing appearance. The spin-off set up by the Young Sheldon finale follows the titular newlyweds, Georgie Cooper, Montana Jordan, and Mandy McAllister, Emily Osment. Rounding out the main cast of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage are Rachel Bay Jones, Audrey, Will Sasso Jim, and Doogie Baldwin Connor, the other members of the McAllister family. The Cooper matriarch, Mary Zoe Perry, has previously had a hostile relationship with Audrey, but their rivalry has begun to impact their shared family. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage episode 10 delved deeper into Mary and Audrey's strained relationship, as the two women battled over being co-grandmothers to baby Cece. As a result, Georgie and Mandy bickered over whose side they were each on, further dividing the house. Despite Audrey and Mary's mutual disdain, one grandmother showed much more reason and restraint than the other. Though Georgie and Mandy's first marriage season 2 could potentially solve the issues plaguing Mary and Audrey's relationship, the question of whether the comedy should come up with a solution at all remains. Mary's antics in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage episode 10 make Audrey look good. Only one of them is willing to compromise. Throughout Georgie and Mandy's first marriage episode 10, both Audrey and Mary experience slights that would reasonably upset someone. Yet while Audrey allows her husband to offer advice and concedes her mistakes, Mary keeps herself firmly positioned as the victim in the episode. Mary's hypocrisy is highlighted when Georgie has a conversation with his mother, during which Mary is upset with him while assuming he took her side before becoming more upset when he admits he understands Audrey's perspective. As demonstrated in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage episode 10, conflict resolution with Mary Cooper is always a lose-lose situation. Whereas Audrey's flaws ultimately stem from love, Mary's emotional outbursts in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage read more like tantrums. While Audrey initially seemed like the villain of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, beneath her defensive passive aggression, she has proven herself to be a sympathetic character. Aside from admitting Georgie is a fine husband, apologizing for passing judgment on her daughter's life, and continually attempting to connect with her children, Audrey is willing to admit when she's wrong and apologize, even if her version of "I'm sorry" is a bit condescending. Whereas Audrey's flaws ultimately stem from love, Mary's emotional outburst in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage read more like tantrums. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage can still solve Mary's behavioral issues, but would it? Any development would ultimately be futile. There are numerous possible explanations for Mary's unyielding victim complex in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, but the bulk of her combative tendencies are likely a result of her unresolved grief after losing her husband George, Lance Barber, at the end of Young Sheldon. With George Sr. posthumously returning to Georgie and Mary's first marriage, the entire Cooper family's grief surrounding the patriarch's death could come to the forefront of the series. Consequently, Mary could finally find the sense of closure and peace she needs to mellow out. Still, even though Georgie and Mandy's first marriage could redeem Mary, it would feel like progress made in vain. It's easy to forget that every character in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage already has a set fate, but the prequel has free rein to explore how they end up where we already know they will. Ergo, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage could give Mary a detailed redemption arc, but it would be pointless since the Big Bang Theory guarantees Mary will never truly change. Regardless of how Georgie and Mandy's first marriage chooses to handle its Mary problem, the conflict is undeniably compelling.